There is a kind of love in this world that needs no words, asks for nothing in return, yet remains stronger than anything else. It is the unwavering loyalty of a dog to the owner it loves. Today we step into a deeply emotional story, a story of an old, lonely woman and her faithful companion, Bruno. A tale that will not only move you, but will stir your soul with the sacred bond between humans and animals. Prepare a tissue, for this story may bring tears to your eyes. In a small village near the forest, an elderly woman named Maria lived alone in her old wooden cottage. Her husband had long passed, and her children had moved far away, leaving her to face the quiet solitude of old age. Maria had no one left, no one but Bruno, an aging mixed-breed dog with gray, scruffy fur and eyes filled with undying devotion. Bruno was not a noble or beautiful dog, but to Maria, he was everything. For 10 years, they had shared the bitter cold of winter and the golden warmth of the summer sun. Each morning, Bruno would lie silently by the doorstep, waiting for Maria to wake. Each night, he would curl up at her feet, listening to the stories she whispered in her soft, time-worn voice. But time does not spare anyone, not even the most faithful companions. One fateful winter day, a brutal snowstorm swept through the village, covering everything in an endless sheet of white. Maria had grown frail, but she still managed to light a fire to warm Bruno. Shivering, she wrapped a woolen scarf around his neck, whispering, "Bruno, you are all I have left. Please don't leave me, my dear." Bruno licked her trembling hand, his eyes filled with a silent promise. He would never leave her side. But fate is seldom kind. That night, Maria fell gravely ill with a high fever. She curled up in bed, her breath weak, her frail hand gripping Bruno's fur. Bruno barked desperately as if calling out for help. But in the heart of the storm, no one could hear him. Sensing that his beloved owner was in danger, Bruno made a decision, one that would change everything. He braved the freezing winds and ran out into the storm. Snow clung to his fur, the wind howled mercilessly, but Bruno did not stop. He ran toward the village where he knew there were still people awake inside a small tavern. The heavy wooden doors creaked open, and the freezing wind rushed inside, along with a small, exhausted dog. His fur was matted with snow, his body shivering violently. Bruno barked, whimpered, and tugged at a man's cloak with his teeth, his eyes pleading for help. But the villagers hesitated, unsure of what to do. A murmur spread through the tavern. "That's Maria's dog, but in this storm, how could anyone make it to her house?" Bruno didn't care about the odds. He turned and dashed back into the storm, looking back only once, hoping someone would follow. And then finally someone did. A young man named Lucas grabbed a lantern, pulled his cloak tight, and ran after Bruno. When Lucas arrived at Maria's cottage, she was barely breathing. Without hesitation, he lifted her frail body and carried her back toward the village. Bruno followed closely behind, his small paws trembling, his breath heavy. Snow and exhaustion weighed him down, but he refused to stop. Maria was saved, but Bruno was not. Severely weakened by the cold, Bruno's body could take no more. He lay beside Maria one last time, his breath shallow, his eyes clouding over. But as he looked at her, there was no pain, only joy that she was alive. Maria, now awake, held him gently, tears falling onto his worn, matted fur. "Bruno, you saved me. But who will save you now?" she whispered, her voice breaking. Bruno wagged his tail one last time, as if to say his mission was complete. Then he closed his eyes forever. The tiny cottage had never felt so silent or so unbearably cold. Though Bruno was gone, he never truly disappeared. On quiet winter afternoons, the villagers would see Maria sitting by her doorstep, holding Bruno's old collar, whispering stories of the most loyal friend she had ever known. Years later, when Maria passed away, the village built a small statue of Bruno outside her home. They called it the Keeper of the Fire, for Bruno had not only saved Maria's life, he had saved her spirit in the darkest of nights. And so the story of the faithful dog lived on, passed down through generations, like a bittersweet melody that no one could listen to without tears. Bruno may be gone, but his love and loyalty will never fade. Sometimes we fail to realize that the smallest, most unassuming things around us are the most precious. If you have a dog, a cat, or any creature that loves you unconditionally, remember, to them, you are their whole world. They ask for nothing but your love in return. Bruno's story is not just about a loyal dog. It is a reminder that in this ever-changing world, loyalty and true love still exist, sometimes in the places we least expect. How did this story make you feel? If it touched your heart, leave a comment and share this video with someone who loves animals. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartwarming stories.